What some say was a racist assault is speaking out as community members demand accountability. 18-year-old Michael Robinson believes he was targeted because he is black and says he was chased by a mob of teenagers hurling racist slurs in the parking lot of a movie theater last week.
While 4 of the teens have been arrested, many in the community want the attack investigated thoroughly and the teens to be held accountable.
Rachel Menitoff live in Simi Valley with more on the ongoing investigation and the calls for justice tonight. Rachel.
Hi, good evening. The victim, Michael, tells me he's sharing his story tonight, not only for himself, but for others who have been harassed and victimized by this group. And he says the city and the police needs to take it seriously. Michael Robinson says a night out with his friends turned into this nightmare of a scene. He says a group of intoxicated, hostile teenagers started by picking on his friend with whom they had prior issues and then turned their rage on him. Robinson described their unrelenting punches, kicks, and their hurling of racial slurs.
They hit one of my friends in the face first, then they hit another. And then they come in and they rush me, and I'm in between 2 cars. I managed to get out from behind the 2 cars, and I run into the parking lot. As I get into the parking lot, they proceed to slam me into the hood of somebody's car and jump me.
From one angle, you see Robinson trying to shield himself from their blows with a chair and then took off running. He says he pleaded with a mall security guard to intervene, but the person cowered, didn't offer any kind of lifeline in his time of need.
But they still caught me, and when they caught me, they decided they were going to put my head in the trash can and proceed to hit me in the back of my head.
Several people have written into KTLA alleging this same group of white teenagers are responsible for victimizing other black and brown teenagers. Robinson's attorney, Jamal Tucson, says they're calling for an equitable investigation.
The entire county of Ventura is watching, and broadly, on a national level, we are going to be looking to see how this situation is handled.
During a passionate Simi Valley City Council meeting Monday night, residents echoed these demands.
What happened on Saturday is a hate crime, and I urge you to ask the DA to investigate and prosecute it as such.
Hate crimes cannot continue to be swept under the rug. On behalf of the Black student body of Simi Valley, we demand justice for Michael Robinson.
The Simi Valley Police Department confirms that 4 teens were arrested for misdemeanor battery and that one of them is the son of a local police officer. This officer, they say, is not involved in the investigation.
I forgive them, but there's consequences to your actions. I'm not the only person. I'm fighting for most. It's not just my voice. It's many.
And the 4 teenagers have been cited and released to their parents because this involves juveniles. It will first go to probation, and then probation will refer the case to the district attorney's office. The DA says it hasn't yet seen the case, and therefore it can't say anything further at this point. That's the very latest in Simi Valley tonight. I'm Rachel Menitoff. Share Micah, back to you.
Hey, family. So you heard that. So they attacked this young man, and there was a whole thug group of them, okay? They were all thugged out, and they could have, unalived this man, but thank God it did not get to that point. And you heard when he said that even the security officer wouldn't help him. Security officers should be fired immediately, okay? Because that's your job. If there had been, I'm sorry, family, if there had been a group of black teenagers jumping on a white teenager, I think he would have helped in some kind of way, okay? And then, family, please teach your youth. Stop with this, I forgive them. Please, can we teach our youth to stop? They have not asked for your forgiveness, young man. They don't want it. What they wanted to do is what they did. And so he's a young man, and so I know he has to learn how our enemy operates. But I think the parents should be working with him on that. See, black people, y'all too forgiving. I'm not saying that you within your heart don't have to forgive somebody, but you don't have to get on camera and always say it. We're going to excuse this young man because he's young and he doesn't understand, you know, really what he's saying. But we have to be more diligent, family. Too many of us are ending up in this kind of a situation. This young man really didn't know any better, but his parents should have. See, some of us think because, you know, we live in certain areas, we can allow our children, to go into the streets and frolic with that other community's children. I mean, this could have very well been the police. And then you heard them say that one of the young guys that's involved in it, or the thugs that's involved in it, parent is a law enforcement in Simi Valley. So we already know where that's coming from. He's following footsteps. He's following his dad's footsteps is what he's doing. Hmm. His daddy is a thug cop, and so he's raising a thug son, and it is what it is. Family, watch your children. Keep them safe. It's your responsibility. I don't care where you lived. You know, I had my youngest daughter. We lived in a mixed neighborhood. It was white and blacks and Hispanics and all different other Indians and stuff. But yeah, I monitored my children, and I knew where they were going. See, unfortunately, if that young man didn't own a vehicle, you okay, that he was driving, parents should have been there to pick him up after. That's what I did, because you never know what's going to happen and what's going to go on. So all I'm going to say is, family, please monitor your children better, whether they're teenage or not. It is our responsibilities to ensure the safety of our children. This young man is very fortunate. He could have been unfortunate and not made it home that night. They say they've arrested 4, but they need to arrest the rest. All right, guys, have a blessed one. Thanks so much for joining and watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and come back and join us. And if you're not a subscriber, I need you to subscribe. Okay? All right, family. Take care. Bye bye.